Yesterday, the Congressional Budget Office released its report on raising the minimum wage. And for the second time in 1 month, Republicans are out front embracing the work of an agency they haven't always been so sweet on.
Boy, the CBO's been busy.
The Congressional Budget Office predicting 500,000 Americans could lose their jobs if the minimum wage goes up.
You might get a raise when it comes to the minimum wage, but that's counting on the fact that you still have a job.
Is the president's push for a higher minimum wage kaput?
Conservatives are out in full force, trumpeting part of the latest Congressional Budget Office report on the minimum wage. It's just their latest effort to crush the growing movement for a minimum wage increase.
Recently, they said today, gosh, if you did minimum wage, one impact is going to be you'll have fewer jobs.
It's pretty clear what they said yesterday could cost up to 1 million jobs.
But while the right wing was out spreading the gospel of the CBO, they've left out that in the same report, the CBO estimates that increasing the minimum wage to $10.10 an hour would raise almost 1 million people out of poverty and would raise the incomes of 16.5 million low-wage workers in an average week. But what's been left out by conservatives isn't as interesting as what is being expressed. And that's a newfound interest in what the CBO has to say. But it wasn't always this way.
And we got to do away with the CBO. They are not fair.
If you're serious about real health reform, abolish the Congressional Budget Office. It is a dishonest institution.
Where you get your information and how accurate it is and what the track record is very important, and CBO's track record on this kind of stuff is abysmal.
Well, CBO says this, CBO says this. Well, because CBO uses some pretty strange accounting conventions that aren't used anywhere else in the world. Here in Washington, D.C. I mean, any place else in the world, you'd be in jail.
Look, times have changed. Now that conservatives are endorsing CBO reports, I think we're going to see some real movement on Capitol Hill, starting with immediately ending austerity. After all, the CBO said the sequester, which the GOP has fought to extend, could cost up to 1.6 million jobs. So how about ending the madness, John Boehner? Or immigration reform, which has passed the Senate last year, but is yet to be brought up for a vote in the House. CBO said passing the Senate's immigration bill would grow the economy and shrink the deficit. So don't you think it's time for a vote, Eric Cantor? And then there's extending unemployment insurance, a bill Republicans in the Senate have blocked for months. The CBO found it would increase GDP and increase employment. So what do you say, Mitch McConnell? Over the past 36 hours, conservatives have decided to care about the employment prospects of low-wage workers, disingenuously using the CBO to beat up on the president and defend big business. But don't forget, if conservatives actually cared about the employment prospects of low-wage workers, there are a lot of real ways they could show it.